Welcome back, Regenerative Ag Network, episode 2. I'm gonna grab a chunk of soil and we're gonna look at it as our green bridge. I wanted to get this topic done. It kind of jumps ahead, but I just wanted to get it done while I could still get some soil. But I have this awkward, ugly. I gotta say it. I've been absolutely lambasted on social media for talking like this before, but I'm gonna just jump right back into that frying pan and say, what a fantastic time in history to be a farmer. Well, I'm sorry. I said it. It's out there. It's done with. It's on the web. Leave your hate comments below. God knows other people have, but this really is a great time to be a farmer. Consumers are really speaking out loud for what they want for a product. There's growing markets for the small farmers to just capture these little niche markets. I mean, when farmers can take a 3-acre field and make that their living for the year because they're farming it by hand by the square inch, growing specialty crops, and they're making 60, 70 grand a year off of that acre, I think that's pretty amazing. The fact that they're even making it worth their time, let alone making a living, is pretty amazing. This whole run-up debt so I can flip my combine every 3 years and all new tractors and stuff like that. Don't complain to me about farm commodity prices. We have good prices for the last 5 years. We've gotten a lot of money from subsidy dollars that shouldn't be there, but we got it. We got it, so enjoy it. I'm sorry that I don't see a negative thing about being an American farmer today. My heart goes out to any farmer and any small business in general that experience a natural disaster. I don't think farmers are any more special than any other small business, Napa owner, construction company, the guy that owns his carpenter business or a concrete business or any business, an auto shop, for body work or a repair store. They all have their houses mortgaged just like us other farmers do. They all have as much blood, sweat, and tears into their inventory just like we do. The blacksmith or the welding and machine shop guy that had to work out of his business so he could run his business at night to hopefully someday have it be a full-time job, I guarantee he has as much love into that lathe and the steel on the wall as you and I do in our tractors and our crop. It's there, you know what I mean? So it's rather insulting to say farmers are just a special breed of small business. With the markets there, the consumers just flat out telling us what we want. You got General Mills, Coca-Cola, 50 other companies that are looking for this soil health area. In the next couple of years, we're going to start seeing hopefully some premium markets developing there. It's there, guys. I apologize again. You leave your comments below as to how horrible of a human being I am to think that what a great time. I got a 1978 tractor cab right there. It's comfortable. It keeps me out of the elements. I set the temperature to what I want. I got a 1973 4430 for doing all the winter work around here for the cattle and the yard maintenance and snow clearing. It's got heat and it keeps me out of the wind. I have nothing to complain about. I'm not walking behind a horse manhandling a plow all day. That's something to complain about. Natural disasters happen somewhere every year to somebody. My heart goes out to them. Like I said, bad prices happen somewhere to everybody, but the markets don't owe us nothing. Nobody's entitled to be a farmer. It's a supply and demand market. If the government would get out of it, stop all these subsidy payments and just stop subsidizing crop insurance, stop doing it. The only thing we need the government there for is regulations and to make sure we're providing a quality, safe product that people aren't just shipping in infected disease crap. We don't need the government to be giving us handouts. We don't need bailouts. We don't need subsidized crop insurance. We're big boys. We can go buy crop insurance if we want crop insurance. We'll drive up to State Farm, have an a la carte system. We can design whatever we want. Get out of our farming, government. Let things go how they just need to go. We don't need to be whining and crying about how we need fixed price supports and lower commodity prices. $300 bag seed corn is there because people are buying it. When they stop buying it, the price will go down. We could complain about corporate ag, how it's ruining that how corporations are ruining the structure of the American farmer, and we'll get there, just not today. Today's a positive video, and so I'll end it right there. But guys, I'm wholeheartedly sorry that I believe right now is a fantastic time to be a farmer. Our 5 soil health principles, large and in charge, live right in front of us. This is the end goal. This is our new green bridge. Take that old green bridge logic of having to do fall primary tillage, a fall herbicide application, throw it out the window. It's here. This is the end game. And look at them roots. Look at that soil structure. It just, there is a worm. He keeps sucking back in, but there is a worm right in there, and still alive and moving around. Even though we have freezing temperatures, we still have life trying to happen, roots trying to germinate. I mean, look at that profile. This is our end game. This is where we need to be. All we're missing is this did not have a nitrogen cover crop on it, so the only thing we're missing is nitrogen nodules. But the fact that we've gotten to this point, according to some of the universities, there's up to 50 nitrogen credits right here without even seeing nodules. Just by going away from full tillage to this over 5-6 years, we've gained 50 nitrogen credits. That's 100 pounds of urea I don't need to spread to grow the exact same crop on this soil versus tilled soil. Well, 100 pounds of urea to order it, to buy it, to handle it, that all takes money, guys. Money. When you can get it free. It's right here. We're gonna get to this point. After this, we're gonna go back. We're gonna start at ground zero. We're gonna go through the 5 principles of soil health. We're gonna go through how does a guy get started? Where can you start? What step 1. We're gonna rewind. We got all winter just to start at step 1, ground zero, and go through this. But while I could still get unfrozen ground out from underneath the round bales, I thought this would be a good time. Let's reinvent the green bridge. It takes care of everything for us. It takes care of all 5 principles. We don't need cattle for livestock when we've got livestock in the ground we need to be concerned about first. The livestock in the ground is how we get plants to live. There's your primary tillage in the fall. Deep roots going down deeper than any shank's gonna go. They're creating pore spaces and big air spaces for water and air to stay in our soil profile come spring. You wanna talk about warming and drying soil? Is it easier to dry up? Here, let's take a piece of tilled soil in the spring. There's no pore spaces because you work the roots out of it. Well, you can't even compact this soil because there's just literally too much roots, but it's dense on a cubic foot basis. There's no air or pore spaces. The only way this soil can heat up is from the top down, from pure radiant heat from the sun. And there's no, this is your typical soil, so you have to work to warm and dry. Water's going to sit on top, it's going to pond on top. You always hear the people say, well, if I had to wait for my farm to get dry enough to no-till, I'd never get a crop in. If I had to wait for my soil as a conventional farmer to be fit to till properly, I'd never get a crop in. That water ponds, it don't dry up, we have to work it to get it to warm up, blah, 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 blah. We got this soil per cubic foot, it's a lot lighter. Means on a per cubic foot basis, it takes less energy to heat up less soil material. But we have root channels, air channels, wormholes that will take water away. They'll allow warm air to go in. I mean, heat rises, but you got life going on. Air can get into that soil profile. It's warming this up. I'll say it for the rest of my life. Warming and drying your soil is a myth. You have the fact that you have to do a finish pass in the spring to warm and dry your soil to make it fit to plant is a big indication you have a soil health problem. That just plain and simple. You can argue all day long, but that's just soil science. It's just soil science. Soil by nature does not do that. Now, if you have a different water table, that's a different story. But soil by nature does not pond water. By nature, it percolates water as best it can. So we got primary tillage. Come springtime, this is our finished pass tillage. All these little hair roots. I'll tell you what, ever since going on this journey, I no longer have had hairpinning. Ever since I've been no-tilling into this, I've never had sidewall smearing of the planter, but I did before. Before I got to here, I had sidewall smearing. It wasn't fun. It sucked, you know, it was crappy. And so now that I'm planting into this, I had to add some down pressure. I had to change my closing wheels. That's it. That's it. Or add row cleaners, but I no longer care about monitoring, spending a lot of money on downforce systems because it doesn't matter. This as my sand, this as my heavy clay, this as my soft soil, as my wet soil, as my dry soil, it doesn't matter. It's just so consistent that I can just set the planter to 150 pounds or 200 pounds of down pressure, full seed box, empty seed box, just drive. Set my closing wheels on probably number 2 or number 3 and just drive. I don't need to be jacked up on number 4. 90% of the time it's on number 2 and you just drive and it's all taken care of. This is a better condition. What about during the summer? So we till that soil. Come summertime, that same water ponding effect. What about we till the soil right behind when we plant? So we got this. And then over here we scratch the dirt up and it gets warm and dry, so we plant into it quick. The next day it's a 45-degree rain. What temperature is this soil? What temperature is this soil? They're both 45 degrees. It seemed all that warming and drying we did doesn't really mean much, except on this side we still have water to percolate ability. We have life, we have air in the soil still, we don't have yellow corn. On this side now we got water ponding. If we wanted to get back out to spray in a couple days, now you're spinning and sliding and muck sticking to the tires. You drive across this. The next day after a half inch of rain, after an inch of rain today, you'd be out on this field tomorrow without a concern in my life. And so during the summer then, what about that tilled soil? When it's 130 degrees soil temperature, how much water are you losing through evaporation and the plant respirating the water? The plant is giving water away to try and save itself and not using water for its own growth and life. It's just trying to keep cool. Versus this, look at that tilled soil, all these roots in 3 inches or less. In that tilled soil, when the soil is that hot, how much nutrient transfer is going on? How much water uptake is happening? Zero. There is zero life at this 3 minus inches to transfer nutrients. Where's your best on a conventional farm? Where's your best fertility level? 0 to 4 inches. I mean, at 0 to 2 inches versus 3 to 4 inches, it even changes. And so we really rely. Go dig it up. Where do you think? How much roots do you have in that 3 inch minus zone? Go dig your roots up and see how much is there. It's amazing how much all these little hair roots are in that 3 inch minus zone. So come summertime, if it gets dry a little bit, this soil is holding moisture. You got an inch of rain. This soil soaked in as much as it could. This worked up soil over here, as much as it could, it ran off. It's just how it works. I'll just end right there. I'm just going to end right there, guys. You can leave your nasty comments of what a silly fool I am, thinking this is the goal we want to get to someday with the 5 principles of soil health. Like I said, we're going to spend this winter, the rest of this fall, this winter, just looking at them 5 principles and how we can start from ground zero. But someday we'll all be here. And what if the other part going on is our nutrient side of it. So, and our herbicide side. We got that green cover going. What if we strip till into that, or herbicide strip into that? Instead of 30 inches of death with chemical, maybe we only do 6 inches of death with chemical and get our grow crop in there. Greatly reduce our herbicide, or you strip till into it and not use as much herbicide. Let the green there control the noxious weeds. How come the cornfield with very little chemical but had green and growing? We never had much water hemp. There was some water hemp, but it wasn't as much as the soybean fields that were super clean, that we spent all that money on with the new and improved chemical program. That's all I got to say about that program. The rye, our living green, our Green Bridge rye had better weed control for the first couple months of the year than the most expensive, or not most expensive, than a very tried and true program. That says a lot right there, you know. It's just crazy what's happening. There's a little baby worm right in there. He's trying to move around. They're pretty slow. It's cold. They're moving slow, but yeah, driving on that, doing work in that next year, what's it worth to you to be able to apply your products in season on time if you had to side dress? What's it worth to you that you're able to side dress on the day you needed to? What's it worth to you that you had to spray on the day that you needed to? All these farms want to say no-till don't work here. That's because they have an unhealthy soil, and they're just thinking if I stop doing tillage, it's all going to get better. But you got to put life back in your soil. And so this time I will quit right there, guys. And there you go, buddy. Guys, leave your horrible comments below. What a fool I am. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.